Well, outgoing US President Joe Biden is facing increasing backlash from both sides of politics for pardoning his son, Hunter Biden. Joining me live is political scientist and honorary professor at the University of Sydney, Simon Jackman. Simon, good afternoon. Thanks for your time. Do you think this move is hypocritical? What's your take of it all?
A little hypocritical, if only for the reason that he's backtracking from a campaign promise. So it sort of checks the hypocrisy box on that one. But quite on the other hand, there's a long line of US presidents who pardon family members in the dying weeks and months of their presidency. And I think for Joe Biden in particular, the family history here would just be weighing on him immensely. He suffered huge personal loss over his life. Most recently losing his other son, Beau, to brain cancer. And I think when you set it also against the context of him standing aside to let Kamala Harris run for the presidency, I think this was a relatively easy call for him to make. I think he knew he would take some heat for it, but as you said, he's an outgoing president. I think the big tell, though, is the way that many congressional Democrats are looking to put a bit of daylight between themselves and President Biden on this one.
There are many question marks about, I guess, sort of what legacy this means that Joe Biden leaves behind. But as you said, it's like he's made a pretty strong statement here that family comes first, no matter what that means for him. Is this an abuse of power, though? Does it weaken the rule of law in the United States?
Yeah, now this is an interesting question because it's not just a pardon, right? And when we look at the detail here, it is clemency for any criminal wrongdoing over the preceding 10 or 15 years or so. And there are still some lingering questions about what Hunter Biden was up to. And, a lot of the legal experts who look at this do point out, yes, pardons of family members are one thing, but sort of this is an extremely broad grant of clemency and a pardon that President Biden has issued, broader than any we typically see at this stage of US presidencies. And that's the rub here. And I think it's also looking down the game tree. Could President Biden be confident that the Trump administration wouldn't continue to come after his son, even though the Bidens are no longer a political force in the United States after January 20? And I think he looks ahead at a Trump administration, figures he's not sure about that answer. And hence this rather broad grant, but it does, and this is where I think the question about what it does with the rule of law is a really correct one to ask, and that it is exceptionally broad and does set a bit of a precedent, I'm afraid, for what we might expect to see from the Trump administration, say, with respect to people convicted of quite spectacular crimes, if you will, against the American system of government. And I'm thinking here principally of the January 6, people that have been convicted of offences with respect to January 6. I think Trump, if he needed any more room to move there, I don't think he did, but he's certainly got plenty of cover now from today's announcement by President Biden.
And I guess Biden is receiving backlash on both sides of politics, understandably, because Democrats have been looking to Biden saying, why did you do this? You've just played into Republicans' argument here that the Democrats can't be trusted. And so much of Biden, as well as Kamala Harris's campaign, was all about Trump being a convicted felon, and now Biden's pardoning his son Hunter. So it kind of feeds into that hypocrisy there and the argument. But as you said, the spectrum of this is so broad and what that actually means. Hunter Biden cannot be persecuted for any offence leading back to 2014 specifically, a pretty specific year, but also the year he joined the Ukrainian energy firm, most notably.
That's right.
There must be some of concerns there from Joe Biden that there's something there worth prosecuting Hunter for, right?
Exactly, and it's perhaps not just the Ukrainian connection, but Hunter Biden was, as the more we learn about this, the more he was talking to foreign business interests, trading on his family name, quite frankly. And there may well be more there to see. But now I think the idea is that, look, there may be more to see and Congress can investigate anything it wants to. But the idea that, there's a criminal prosecution at the end of this, well, that's effectively off the table now. So it shuts down one avenue if the Republicans really wanted to go there. I guess the only other thing I'd put on the table, though, is to don't bet against the short-term memories of the American people, or else for that matter. This has been announced on the Monday after the Thanksgiving long weekend, when most Americans were with their families. I think that this idea of family coming first will be, it's never more foremost in the American popular culture than during the Thanksgiving break. The other thing is, I think this is happening in December. We're going to get through the holidays, Christmas break. I think by the time we get to, say, February or March next year, there's a good chance, I wouldn't say a zero chance, but there's a good chance we won't be talking about Hunter Biden anymore. And while it's making news, certainly in what is a bit of a quiet period in the interregnum in the United States, like so many pardons granted at this time of a presidential cycle, could well and truly be water under the bridge as we talk about the things that the Trump administration is going to be doing in late January and February of next year.
Simon, that's a very good point you make there. I believe the timing of this isn't just a coincidence. It's very selective there, I'm sure. Thanks for your time today. And I mean, Team Trump. Team Trump is shaping up very quickly, so it's going to be an interesting couple of months. Simon, thanks for your time this afternoon.
Pleasure. Thank you.